Fair use. It's one's own right to use copyrighted material without permission as long as it meets the requirements to pass as satire, parody, criticism, commentary, or news reporting. As long as you are able to make something unique with the source material you are parodying or criticizing, then it's your right to use the material and even make money off of it. Now, of course, there are limitations to using copyrighted material because companies will fight you for their own right. But just as long as you're following the laws of fair use, which is the majority of gamers, movie reviewers, and news reporters online and offline, then you should have nothing to worry about. And by having nothing to worry about, we mean you're still going to be attacked even if your video of copyright material is still your own right. There's no doubt that some companies will let it pass. Heck, it's rare but possible they might like what you have to say about their content depending on what you have to say about it. But even if your video is given their content positive points and it is following the rights of fair use, companies will still have the gall to go after you and submit a copyright claim against your own video, and even threaten you with lawsuits and give you no remorse while doing so. And most of the times, the site that you are hosting your video on will give in. You can submit a dispute to fix this problem, however, they can just ignore your fair use dispute and automatically reject you if you say otherwise.
What the f***, YouTube? You guys are being complete assholes. What the hell happened to you? I cannot believe you're doing this. This is wrong. This is stupid. Why the hell would you punish all of the people who you have profited off of for years? Because a few people are uploading full movies to YouTube or full songs to YouTube. You want to hurt everyone with this stupid ass new content ID system.
Oh boy, was it a disaster as many YouTubers stated themselves. This was a content ID controversy that has shut down a lot of YouTubers, put big time users at risk for their well-being, their assets, and their very own channel. And it's without a doubt borderline illegal what they are doing. But even if you are a big time YouTuber, the chances of you fighting these claims off, even if it meets the requirements of fair use, are close to impossible. Some people like Angry Joe have managed to get their claims down, but it still remains a problem in which only the company has control over, or to continue to make revenue off a 30-minute video, even if they have only 30 seconds of their content shown despite not being the owners of the other 29 minutes and 30 seconds. It's a broken system and a lot of people have become intimidated with no way to fight this off. And even if you could file a dispute filling out a form that you are following fair use, and you have the right to use the content without permission, the companies could very well reject your claim if they are stupid enough not to understand the rights of fair use. That, or they will be too lazy to even give a damn. You will be threatened like a criminal. Both sides are fighting for their own right, and it won't matter how right you are, they will treat you like they would with a pirate.
Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. You're our favorite indeed. Being a pirate is a right indeed. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
I guess because it was cheaper. I'm a real college student. Now that I'm in the arts program, I gotta respect the arts, so I buy my music, buy my movies, buy my games. But I will download the programs I use for like my program, because they cost like expensive, but I don't use them for non-profit, I use them like for learning. Lord of the Rings came out in 2001. Fellowship was the first movie I pirated way back with Morpheus. It was a little complicated then, you have to look for it. But nowadays it's pretty easy. You just pop online, Google it, whatever you want, and you can grab it.
The difference between pirating and fair use is that fair use is illegal and law in which people have the right to use copyrighted content without permission as long as it meets the requirements for a review or a parody. That's how we're able to have companies like Robot Chicken, How It Should Have Ended, College Humor, Let's Players, game and movie reviewers, and the individuals that create a parody satirizing copyrighted content. The content is needed for people to illustrate their point of view so they can justify the purpose they are getting across. And the one wiggle movement that feels like the AI who is tracking down this stuff seems to be a copyright issue, it will give you a claim. They will treat content creators like pirates, and this was the very same problem that people were having with bills like SOPA. This bill was never passed because we as a society fought up against it, because we knew their purpose will affect all the people on the internet who, if they even used one bit of copyrighted content for fair use purposes, would be attacked. They may have been intended to fight against pirates, but it's really the content creators that are in jeopardy and not the actual pirates themselves. Pirating is stealing content and trying to claim it as your own by giving the people few access to the content you do not own.
I do it because everything is expensive and I'm fairly cheap, but I do it for many reasons. A, I find it so much easier to just grab something when I need it. It's right there. I don't need to go nowhere. That's pretty much like the main reason. You know, when I want something, I can just kind of take it.
Pirating is not only stealing, but it's harming the companies that try to use copyrighted content for their benefit. And even if they're not claiming it as their own, they are still trying to use it for their benefit, not realizing that it's against what's legal and it won't count as fair use. It's true people pirate, mostly so they can save their money. Those are the people the companies should be going after. And while the majority of us are easily able to download songs for free illegally, downloading full movies and programs is not only hard, but the purpose for it to be hard to download has a purpose. A pirate is a criminal who could very well be like you, and if you were to use that bit of content as your own while calling it fair use, the companies then should have the right to sue you for illegal distribution. But using portions of movies, games, or songs is not if the person is abiding by fair use and is criticizing the points that are necessary. If we couldn't criticize the content, then the art of film would be so flawed. We would be so lost in the art form that produces nothing but a waste for us to empty our wallets and not get it back. With clips, it's not so hard to convince a company you have the right, but when it comes to songs, that can be very hard to come by. But when it comes to video games, that seems to be like the #1 most used fair use content on the internet that gaming companies just have to let it slide.
In the end, if the content, like the owner of the content uploads it in the internet, it's like the company also, it's like a free advertisement for the company that published the game.
So what should be limited when it comes to fair use for video game content?
I think as long as the person that want to take the content is only taking like the gameplay and video, I think it should be fine. But to rip off like the models from the game or the texture and then like the sound and those kind of things, it's like it should be illegal because like basically it's stealing.
And what is unique with watching other people play a game?
Oh yeah, because when I watch other people play, I can feel like the same feelings that like they are like going through when they play the games, and like so when I feel when I'm too scared to play some horror games, I don't need to play it myself. I can just like watch them play it.
The answer to fair use is just to follow what is legal by law. Even if the content is negative, you do have the right to criticize what you should criticize. There are limitations on what you can use or the people you are criticizing, but this right exists for a very good reason. Companies might think that the content creators are ruining their finances so they can just sue just for their money. But what these companies have yet to realize is that it doesn't take a robot to understand what fair use is. Technology is flawed when it comes to determine what's right and what's not. We as human beings have got to understand the advantages and potential of what fair use has to offer. It acts as promotion for the company, even if the review on their content is negative. It delivers a point of view and understanding of how we as a human beings think. And if we can evolve for the better as human beings, then seeing a different point of view is a better benefit for the opposite point of view. For art, for us as a diverse species, and an understanding that if something doesn't work for someone, We gotta be able to understand it. Rather than understanding what's right or what's wrong, it's an understanding of why and how. It works as both promotion, understanding what's going on between media and reality, and being able to give our content creators the thumbs up for their point of view and effort to show their point of view of how we can benefit. Fair use is not as flawed as we might think, because if there's anything more wrong than negative free speech and criticism, it would have to be silence. The content creator should have the right to fight what they believe is theirs. If they know what they are using and what they are distributing is legal and beneficial for everybody, then they should have the right to use it. But even with all the fair use that is defending them, companies will still attack you. Even if you try to make them understand, they can never understand. So what does this all amount to in the end? Fight. All you gotta do is just fight for your right. And as bad as it may seem that you gotta go out to court to fight, that's really the only answer to actually fight for your own right, is actually fight back. Fair use is beneficial for everybody. But not everybody in the world, even if they were to listen to this speech, could never be able to understand it. So to all the content creators out there who are fighting for their own right for fair use, keep on fighting, guys. Keep on fighting.